Engineering, Vertiv Energy Private Limited.
Namaste. Okay, so I'm standing between lunch and yourself, so I know. But I have a big responsibility. And I was just, as I came in, I was looking at all the stalls here. We have 43 stalls here. And I saw that the word AI, which is the biggest buzzword, was there on just 2 stalls today. Just 2 stalls. So there's a lot of catch-up for us to do. It's the biggest investment opportunity for us, opportunity for all of us to work together. So just one question before that. How many of you here, in some way or the other, are connected to the data center industry, which is one of the fastest growing industries? Of course, I know there is NK Jain here, NK Jain sir here, so he is definitely a data center veteran, and my presentation will be kind of precursor to the post-lunch session by him and his own daughter who is in the consulting field of data center industry. But how many of you? Okay, so that's something that you're really missing. For the next 10 minutes, I'll talk about the data center industry. What do we do and where do we play this, okay? So just before that, I'm somebody in my younger age who was born in this town, very close to my house. And a dream was set about a metro running in Kochi, and it is reality today. So I just took the metro train yesterday, traveling from Alua, which is the starting point, to Tripunithara, which is around a 56-minute ride, just to understand what all this is about. And I saw a board in the metro, which is about, in 2 minutes time, when you just entangle your earphone, 110 crore money is transferred through UPI in just 2 minutes time. 8 lakh transactions. In 5 minutes time, when you just read your 100 messages, 4 crore money has gone to the needy and the poor and the underprivileged of the country through direct benefit transfer. And in 20 minutes time, when you're hearing 3 or 4 songs on a playlist or looking at a social media feed, 150 houses are being built in this country and 13,000 people are getting free treatment in Ayushman Arogya Kendras by the Prime Minister. And in 56 minutes ride from Alua to Tripunithara, 50 crore Mudra loans, and Mudra loans is micro unit development refinancing agency, and the kind of loan ticket size is 10,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees for the street vendors. 50 crore is transfer. That's the speed at which this country is operating in the last 10 years. And behind all of that is one common thing. When we got 2.1 billion vaccinations done during the 1.5 years of COVID, there was one thing behind, the public interest layer, the digital economy behind, the digital infrastructure behind. So we'll talk a little bit about digital infrastructure, what is powering all this. So there is exponential data growth, there is accelerated computing, and the unit of compute is changing, and there is technology partnership, which is all about this. Okay? So 200 billion is being spent in AI models. How many of you use ChatGPT here? Okay, good number, but I think the number can be more. ChatGPT is not only model, there are several other models. Bard is there, Gemini is there, Microsoft Copilot is there. 200 billion is being spent for the training model. And once the training is done, comes the inferencing, which is a $5 to $10 billion industry already, and it's exponentially growing. And to that extent, a $40 billion investment in 2022 in the whole of this kind of large language models and generative AI, which can synthesize text. So people who are not using it is missing out in a big way, whether you are in the electrical industry, the mechanical industry, the plumbing industry, AI is there behind us. So this is going to be $1 trillion industry by 2032, and it's in front of all of us. And definitely for all the AI to run, they need servers, they need rack, they need busways, they need switch gears, they need panels. So there's a lot of electric, they need a lot of cooling, because all these chips generate a lot of heat, and that's what it's all about. So traditionally in computers, what is there are called CPUs are there, right? So CPUs and GPUs, so it's all about NVIDIA, you would have heard about NVIDIA GPUs. So it's all about, a normal CPU is about something like a computer, it's like 300 watts. Today, there are generations of NVIDIA GPUs, something like Ampere, Hopper, then there is Blackwell, and there is Grace Blackwell. A single GPU is something like 1200 watts of thermal design power. 1200 watts is like an iron box. It can be that hot. And one server could have 8 of them. And one rack could have 72 of them. So it's like 80 kilowatts of heat or thermal load in a rack. So that's the kind of possibility, which means there's a lot of electrical power, there's a lot of cooling load that needs to be done in all these racks, and that's what it's all about. So a little bit about CPUs and GPUs. All along we have been living with CPUs on our computers. Now there will be AI-enabled laptops that will come to us, which will have GPUs also. And a little example of a CPU and a GPU is like a Ferrari car. Okay, so a CPU is like a Ferrari car. It's very powerful, but to transport 4 people on a 1,000-kilometer route, it has to do 250 trips. Whereas the GPU is much smaller. It's like a Fiat Pinto or a Tata Nano or something. It's much smaller, but it can do parallel processing. So it can just do everything in just one trip. 4 people per trip, 250 of them together, it's all done in one trip. So a single GPT-3 inference would take 32 hours for a CPU to do it, whereas for a GPU, it's going to just take 1 second. So that's the kind of exponential growth in terms of accelerated computing and speed that we're seeing across us. So traditional rack, which we see in data centers. How many of you work data centers? The number is small here, but please get into that industry. We work with the industry, we're behind it, and there are, as I said about consultants, James is here. So he's also in the industry. It's a big industry, it's a growing industry. It's growing at 30% per annum. So a single rack, which I showed here some time back, is each one is something like 13 kilowatt. But today you can have one rack with the power of all the 10 of them into just one, what is called an AI rack. So that's what is powering and all the AI low workloads behind. So it's from 13 kilowatt 10 racks to one single 130 kilowatt rack. So the AI densification is a reality today from hardly 4 or 5 kilowatt per rack in a data center. We talked about projects where we are really alive at one time, upwards of 100 kilowatt per rack. 100 kilowatt per rack, you can imagine, right? Then you can have a rack farm, an AI enterprise, an AI factory with hundreds of such racks. It's a big opportunity together for all of us. So the AI infrastructure is about system thinking. So the earlier speakers also talked a little bit about system thinking. It's very important. So you can't think about, earlier there were server manufacturers, servers would go to the IT guy, the facility guy managing the cooling and the power. But today it's not like that. There is liquid that's actually flowing to the chip, and it's a reality today. Hundreds of projects delivered across the world where the liquid is flowing to the server and it is actually taking the heat out. So it requires system thinking. I'm IT, I'm power, I'm cooling. No. Everything. Mechanical, electrical, plumbing, IT, everything comes together in the modern data center. So that's the kind of exponential change that's happening in industry. So data center architectural evolution is completely changing. Today it's all about rollout speed. So there is also about the brick and mortar, the traditional ones, that is giving way to what is known as prefabricated data centers. So liquid cooling is no more a kind of a fiction. It's a reality today in data centers. Because the earlier chips of Ampere and Hopper of NVIDIA were 300 watts, 400 watts. Today we are talking about 1200 watts per chip, and there is one GPU. And you can imagine a cluster of 72 GPUs, you can multiply it. And it's not just about cooling alone. So you also need extra power. Okay, so 1200 watts of TDP means the electrical design power will be around 1.4, 1.5 times that. So from low density racks to something like 10 kilowatt. Today we are talking about extreme density racks of 80 kilowatt. Even that is actually low right now. We are actually delivering Vertims right now, delivering projects worth, where each rack density is upwards of 100 kilowatts. So cold plates is what is there on the server. They take the heat out and then they circulate it to what is known as a coolant distribution unit, and the recirculated coolant goes back to the chip again, takes the heat out. So that's what the process is. We have got limited time. I will not talk a lot about all of this. Okay, so it's not just about cooling alone. What I want to say is that there is also the power requirement in data centers. So there is an important aspect of the whole thing. P4, that's our stall, vertical stall. There is a live unit of a UPS, an uninterrupted power system. Because the AI loads are very, very different. They go up and down in terms of milliseconds. Not like the normal loads of a normal traditional data center. So this requires a completely different architecture, starting from the switch gear, from the utility, from the transformer till the chip, from the grid to the chip. The architecture is going to be different. Okay, so this is all a little bit of details about that. Please go to P4. There's a master class we do for consultants who we want to incubate and bring into the data center field. So please register for that. Otherwise, we also do what is known as a consultant corner. So P4 is our stall, and the backup power options are changing. So from the traditional battery, we are moving towards battery energy storage systems, fuel cells, and those kind of things. And so Vertiv is completely into AI. So what we do is we give you 360-degree kind of coverage, starting from concept to commissioning to installation to life cycle services for the entire data center, brick and mortar projects, or even what I call as prefabricated modular type of projects. We deliver everything. So Vertiv at a glance, we are an $8 billion company globally. This year we will be $9.5 billion company. And we are in India for quite long. So we have 41 locations across India. 3 manufacturing facilities, around the largest service network across any of our competitors. We have something like 2,000 plus resellers across the country. Some of you here already are resellers, and we have employees, 2,300 employees across the country, and the largest service network across the country. And I just want to show you a case study of a real data center that has been called Colosseum, which has been built by NVIDIA and Vertiv together, which is called along with IEEMA. I want to show you about Colosseum. It's just a it doesn't play. That's okay. So okay, the time is over. So this was Jensen Huang. Jensen Huang is NVIDIA's global CEO, and we work very, very closely with NVIDIA. So what he says is that we enjoy a partnership with Vertiv. All the NVIDIA latest Blackwell and the Grace Blackwell and the Ultra Blackwell chips, which are all of the high TDP, they work with Vertiv, and they got what I call a reference design. So any of the Vertiv of the NVIDIA chips that globally are shipped out will come with the Vertiv reference design architecture behind it. That's it. Thank you very, very much. P4 is our stall. Please come there. Sorry for being between you very much. Thank you very much.
The world is transitioning from general purpose to accelerated and AI computing. Compute density and therefore power density are increasing incredibly. Every aspect, from computing, networking, and software, are all groundbreaking computer science. The data center infrastructure is also incredibly complex. The most advanced cooling and power technologies are essential. Vertiv is the world leader. We've enjoyed a great partnership with Vertiv for many years, and our collaboration is growing in leaps and bounds. As every industry and region invest in building AI factories at enormous scales, our partnership with Vertiv is more important than ever. I want to congratulate Giordano and Vertiv on an extraordinary year. This is just the beginning of great things to come as we partner to put AI in the reach of every company and industry.